That familiar ache of standing apart from the crowd isn't just social awkwardness. In those moments when you feel fundamentally different, unable to connect with the casual conversations and common concerns around you, you're experiencing something Nietzsche recognized as a marker of consciousness evolution. This isn't just feeling left out, it's the natural separation that occurs when your awareness expands beyond conventional boundaries. Nietzsche introduced a radical perspective. What society often labels as maladjustment might actually signal the emergence of what he called the higher type, individuals whose consciousness has evolved beyond mass psychology. Like a tree growing taller than the forest canopy, this development naturally creates a kind of solitude. You feel this when your questions go deeper than others are comfortable exploring, when your perspectives challenge accepted norms, when your way of experiencing life feels fundamentally different from those around you. Social alienation, in Nietzsche's view, often indicates developmental progress rather than dysfunction. Just as a butterfly must break from the chrysalis that once protected it, growing consciousness must often separate from the comfortable cocoon of collective thinking. This separation isn't a failure of social adaptation but a necessary step in individual evolution. The discomfort you feel in shallow social situations might be a sign of depth rather than deficiency. The gap between mass consciousness and individual awareness creates an inevitable sense of separation. Like someone who has awakened while others sleep, you see things that others miss, question what others accept, and feel what others have numbed themselves to. This heightened awareness can make ordinary social interaction feel like trying to explain colors to someone who sees in black and white. As we explore the deeper dynamics of feeling left out, you'll discover why this experience might be not just normal but necessary for your development. Section 1: The Herd and the Individual. Look around at any social gathering. Notice how people instinctively align their opinions, mirror each other's behaviors, and seek comfortable agreement. This is what Nietzsche called herd mentality, not as an insult, but as a precise observation of human social behavior. The herd provides safety, comfort, and a sense of belonging. Most never question this arrangement because it serves a vital function. It maintains social order and provides psychological security. You feel this pull yourself, that subtle pressure to agree, to laugh at the right moments, to care about what others care about. Yet something in you resists, questioning whether this comfort is worth the price of authentic self-expression. They find remarkable safety in conformity. Like a school of fish moving in perfect synchronization, the collective mind offers protection from the terrors of independent thought. Shared beliefs, no matter how limiting, feel safer than individual uncertainty. The group mind creates what Nietzsche called good conscience, the comfort of knowing you're thinking and behaving like everyone else. You felt this pressure since childhood, the subtle rewards for agreement, the quiet punishments for thinking differently. The herd doesn't enforce conformity through force but through the more powerful weapons of inclusion and exclusion. Independent thinking carries a price few are willing to pay. Each step toward intellectual autonomy creates distance from collective comfort. When you start questioning accepted truths, exploring forbidden thoughts, or challenging comfortable assumptions, you naturally separate from group consciousness. This isn't just about having different opinions, it's about operating at a different level of awareness. Like someone who has learned to see in color in a black and white world, you can't simply choose to unsee what you've seen. This development creates an inevitable solitude that no amount of social skill can fully bridge. Consciousness levels separate naturally, like oil and water in a glass. Your expanding awareness creates an automatic distance from those operating at different frequencies of thought. This isn't elitism, it's a natural law of psychological development. When you start perceiving deeper patterns, questioning fundamental assumptions, or seeking authentic truth, you naturally drift away from those content with surface-level understanding. This separation often feels painful because the human need for connection remains even as the possibility for shallow connection diminishes. The depth you carry creates distance through multiple mechanisms. Your capacity for critical thought makes small talk feel hollow. Your ability to perceive deeper patterns makes you seem paranoid to those who see only surfaces. Your questions make others uncomfortable because they challenge the comfortable numbness of unexamined life. This distance isn't a failure of social skills but a natural consequence of development. As we explore the burden of seeing more deeply, you'll understand why this separation serves a crucial function in human evolution. Section 2: The burden of seeing more. Your heightened awareness often feels like a double-edged sword, cutting through illusions while simultaneously cutting you off from comfortable ignorance. Simple conversations become complex when you perceive the underlying patterns, unconscious motivations, and societal programming at play. You notice the subtle contradictions in people's statements, the gap between their proclaimed values and actual behaviors, the unexamined assumptions shaping their worldviews. This perception isn't superiority, it's a burden that often makes you wish you could return to simpler understanding. But like someone who has learned to read, you can't choose to unsee the meaning in the symbols. They resist deeper perspectives because consciousness expansion threatens psychological security. Most people have built their entire worldview on certain fundamental assumptions about society, reality, themselves. Questioning these foundations triggers what Nietzsche called passive nihilism, the fear that examining beliefs too closely might cause their entire psychological structure to collapse. Their resistance isn't stupidity, it's self-preservation. When you raise deeper questions or point out uncomfortable contradictions, you're not just challenging ideas, you're threatening the very framework that makes their world feel manageable. Critical thinking creates a peculiar form of loneliness. Each layer of conventional wisdom you peel away, each comfortable illusion you question, distances you further from common understanding. You find yourself constantly translating your thoughts into simpler terms, holding back your full perspective to maintain connections. The ability to see multiple layers of meaning in situations others take at face value creates an inevitable separation. Like a deep-sea diver trying to describe the ocean's depths to someone who's never left the shore, you struggle to convey your perspective without seeming overwhelming or arrogant. The social consequences of questioning norms extend beyond mere discomfort. Your refusal to accept conventional wisdom without examination marks you as potentially dangerous to the social order. Not because you're wrong, but because you're willing to look beyond accepted boundaries of thought. You've likely experienced the subtle and not-so-subtle ways society punishes this independence: exclusion from opportunities, social isolation, being labeled as difficult or negative. The system naturally rejects elements that might destabilize its comfortable equilibrium. Deeper perception transforms ordinary experiences into profound observations about human nature. A casual conversation becomes a study in unconscious motivations. A social gathering reveals complex power dynamics and tribal behaviors. A simple question opens into philosophical depths. This gift of seeing beneath the surface enriches your understanding but often leaves you feeling like an anthropologist among natives, observing rituals you can no longer participate in with simple faith. As we explore how to embrace this position of the observer, you'll discover why this perspective might be essential for human evolution. Section 3: Embracing your position. Your position as an outsider isn't a curse, it's a vantage point. Like a sentinel on a watchtower, you see patterns and possibilities others miss from ground level. This perspective grants you understanding that can't be gained from within the crowd. Instead of trying to shrink yourself to fit in, start recognizing how your position enables you to perceive, create, and influence in ways unavailable to those embedded in collective thinking. This isolation isn't punishment but preparation. Every significant human advancement began with someone willing to stand apart from conventional wisdom. They seek comfort in numbers, but power often emerges from standing alone. Your capacity to think independently, to question assumptions, to see beyond social illusions becomes a source of strength rather than weakness. This perspective allows you to navigate social currents without being swept away by them. Start observing how your outsider position lets you see opportunities others miss, understand dynamics others ignore, and maintain objectivity where others lose themselves in collective emotion. This isn't about superiority but about utilizing your natural orientation. The separation you feel carries profound meaning when properly understood. Like an artist who must step back from the crowd to capture its essence, your distance provides the space necessary for deeper understanding. Transform your sense of alienation into a platform for observation and insight. Your inability to fully immerse in surface-level social connection pushes you toward deeper questions, broader perspectives, and more authentic ways of being. This isn't just philosophical comfort, it's practical truth about how consciousness evolves through individuals willing to endure separation for the sake of growth. Authentic connections emerge not from conforming but from embracing your true nature. Your depth attracts others who carry similar questions, who sense similar patterns, who seek similar truth. These connections might be rarer than conventional friendships, but they run deeper. Look for the others who light up at complex ideas, who aren't afraid of uncomfortable questions, who find beauty in the search itself. Your tribe exists, but they're often the quiet ones, the observers, the ones also standing slightly apart from the crowd. The gift of awareness carries responsibility. Your ability to see deeper patterns, question assumptions, and think independently isn't just for your own benefit. Like someone who has learned to read in a pre-literate society, your expanded awareness positions you to help guide human consciousness forward. This doesn't mean trying to wake everyone up, it means being ready to assist those who are naturally awakening, to articulate what others are beginning to sense, to help translate between levels of awareness. Your position as an outsider might be precisely what humanity needs for its next evolution. The path of the conscious outsider isn't easy, but it's profoundly worthwhile. Your unique perspective enriches the human tapestry, even when it's not fully understood. In embracing this path, you join a lineage of individuals who've helped humanity evolve by daring to see more deeply.